16 years. 16 long, grueling years. That's how long the shadow of suspicion hung over Selwyn Days. For 16 years, he lived under a cloud of doubt and fear, his every move scrutinized, his every word questioned. 16 years he carried the weight of a crime he didn't commit. The double murder of Archie Harris and Betty Ramcharan. The accusations were heavy, the evidence seemingly damning, but Selwyn knew he was innocent. Their tragic deaths shook the city of Yonkers in 1996. The community was in shock, the media in a frenzy, and the police under immense pressure to find the culprits. It also left a community grappling with unanswered questions. Who could commit such a heinous act? Why were Archie and Betty targeted? The fear and uncertainty were palpable. But now, after years of uncertainty, the truth is finally coming to light. The relentless pursuit of justice by a dedicated few has started to unravel the mystery. New evidence uncovered by a dedicated team points to a different set of suspects. This new information is shedding light on what really happened that fateful night. This time there's hope that justice will finally be served. The scales of justice, long tipped against Selwyn, are beginning to balance. This isn't just a story about a crime, it's a story about the relentless pursuit of truth, the dogged determination to uncover what really happened, and the fight to clear an innocent man's name. It's about the resilience of the human spirit and the unwavering pursuit of truth. It's about the strength to keep going, even when the odds are stacked against you. It's about a man who, despite facing unimaginable adversity, never gave up hope. Selwyn Days, through all the trials and tribulations, held on to his belief in justice and his own innocence. And it's about the importance of seeking justice even when it seems impossible to find. Because in the end, justice is not just about punishment, but about truth, redemption, and the restoration of a man's dignity. The year was 1996, a year that would be etched into the memories of the residents of Yonkers forever. The place, a quiet apartment complex in Yonkers, New York. It was a neighborhood where everyone knew each other, and life moved at a gentle pace. It was supposed to be a day like any other. Instead, it unfolded into a nightmare that no one could have anticipated. The bodies of Archie Harris and Betty Ramcharan were discovered inside their apartment. The scene was gruesome, a stark contrast to the peaceful life they once led. They had been brutally murdered. The brutality of the crime shocked even the most seasoned detectives. The news sent shockwaves through the community. Headlines blared the horrific details, and people were glued to their televisions, seeking answers. Fear and grief gripped the city. The once lively streets of Yonkers were now filled with an eerie silence, broken only by the whispers of concerned neighbors. Archie and Betty were beloved members of the community. They were known for their kindness and their involvement in local events. Their loss left a void that would never be filled. The community mourned, holding vigils and creating memorials in their honor. As investigators swarmed the crime scene, the pressure mounted to find those responsible. They needed answers, and they needed them fast. They needed someone to hold accountable. The community demanded justice, and the police were determined to deliver it. Little did they know, their search for justice would take a devastating turn. The investigation would uncover secrets that no one was prepared for. In the aftermath of the brutal murders, detectives zeroed in on Selwyn Days, a young man with a troubled past. They meticulously combed through evidence, piecing together a narrative that pointed directly at him. Selwyn was no stranger to the victims, he had known them for years. This connection made him an immediate person of interest. Friends and neighbors were shocked as they watched the investigation unfold. Under intense pressure during a grueling interrogation, Selwyn eventually confessed to the crimes. The confession, however, was riddled with inconsistencies and raised many questions. He later recanted, claiming his confession was coerced by the detectives. He insisted that he was innocent and that the confession was made under duress. The damage, however, was already done. The media had painted him as the prime suspect, and public opinion was swayed against him. Despite the lack of physical evidence linking him to the crime scene, Selwyn was convicted. The prosecution's case relied heavily on his coerced confession and circumstantial evidence. His trial was marred by inconsistencies and questionable testimony from witnesses. Many felt that the justice system had failed him. He was sentenced to 50 years to life in prison, a harsh penalty for a man who continued to proclaim his innocence. The man who had always maintained his innocence was now labeled a double murderer. His life was forever changed by a conviction many believed was unjust. His life, as he knew it, was over. Selwyn Days would spend the rest of his days behind bars, a tragic figure in a deeply flawed legal saga. Section 4. A glimmer of hope, the reinvestigation. Years turned into a decade. Then another. Selwyn Days languished in prison. But his case was far from forgotten. In 2020, newly elected Westchester County District Attorney Mimi Rocha reopened the investigation. She was committed to righting past wrongs. Rocha assembled a team of investigators. They meticulously reviewed the case files. What they found was startling. The initial investigation was flawed. There were inconsistencies in witness statements. Key evidence was overlooked. Hope flickered. Could this be Selwyn's chance at freedom? Section 5. Unmasking the truth. New suspects emerge. As the new investigation gained momentum, a startling discovery was made. DNA evidence from the original crime scene pointed to two other individuals. These individuals had a known history of violence. They had been suspects early on in the 1996 investigation. The revelation sent shockwaves through the justice system. It cast a dark shadow on the original investigation and raised serious questions about the conviction of Selwyn Days. The pieces of the puzzle were finally falling into place. The truth, buried for so long, was finally coming to light. Section 6. The pursuit of justice continues. The new evidence brought a renewed sense of urgency to the case. The district attorney's office, now headed by Susan Kakash, is actively pursuing justice. However, the journey is far from over. The new suspects are deceased, making the pursuit of justice even more complex. But the district attorney's office remains committed to uncovering the truth. They are determined to hold those responsible accountable. This case represents a miscarriage of justice that cannot be ignored. Section 7. Freedom's Embrace, a long time coming. In a stunning turn of events, Selwyn Days was released from prison. After spending more than 2 decades behind bars for a crime he didn't commit, he was finally free. His release is a testament to the unwavering pursuit of justice. It highlights the importance of holding the justice system accountable for its mistakes. Selwyn's story serves as a stark reminder that the fight for justice is never over. It's a reminder that we must always strive to protect the innocent and hold the guilty accountable.